let's get the meeting going for O&M. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting. Ms. Frazier, Mr. Leggett.
I did. Oh, it's in there. I just look at some.
Yeah, damn right.
All right. You want to go right into the action agenda, Jeff?
Sure. We don't have anything that necessarily needs a resolution today, maybe just some discussion and consensus, but I'll move right through action items into referrals. The first item is on the soda machine. That's been placed, so we can take that item number 1 off the referral list. And then I don't have an update on item 2. Haven't spoken with the county attorney on that regarding the skate insurance issues. And then on item 3, we do have Randy Rathier from LGA and also Jim Liebram from Soil and Water to remind us about the park wetland maintenance manual that was distributed last year. So hopefully we can resolve that one and perhaps get committee comments and final consensus on that operation and maintenance plan for the wetlands.
You want to put them up now, or do you want to?
Well, if maybe we just hit the turf treatments, that should be a quick discussion. Under the discussion items, the 2017 turf treatments. Included in the agenda packet is some quotes and a scope of work from TMC that Dave's been coordinating with.
Yeah, and they've done it the last couple of years. They've done a great job. You know, my recommendation would be to stay with what we have, what works. Got quite an investment out there. It is kind of costly, but they do a good job of it.
All right. Does he want to say a few words, or?
Normally on these, what we do is, unless the committee has any concerns, Dave will initiate the work through through the village's contract, and then as they receive bills, they'll be coming back through committee for reimbursement.
Yep.
Same as we've done ever since the turf has been established.
Yep.
This is more of a heads up for this year on the treatments that are planned, and to get any concerns ironed out before the work is initiated.
Yep.
So you don't need any resolution on it? No.
I don't think so. We will.
If you're okay with doing it, just so you know that I'll be back billing the county for it. That's all.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
You've been doing it for years, why change?
Yeah, it's worked out well.
And it's been necessary with the amount of traffic, and this year I think even more with the number of events coming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
we
more
have
events you
13
have there,
events.
you got to take care of that turf.
Yep, yep.
Okay. Anybody else have any question on that? All right.
Okay, the next item for discussion is the operations. The official name is Operation Inspections and Maintenance Manual for Stormwater Management Facilities, and this is for primarily the south parcel. I do have a couple hard copies here. This was distributed last fall, and then I have it on the big screen too if there's any particular details. I didn't receive any comments from the board on this. The last time we brought it up, it was really just to have a plan on the type of maintenance that would be required to keep that wetland operating as sediment comes in and invasives may come in, or other issues, to keep it functioning as it was intended. And I do, as I mentioned, I have Randy Rathier from LGA. They've been instrumental in putting this together. And then I have Jim Liebram from Soil and Water, who from the beginning has been doing this type of work in other areas, sediment removal and other types of, environmental coordination. So.
Anybody want to speak? Do we have a price? Do we have a price?
There's a section in here that
Okay.
there's a cost estimate. Randy or Jim, do you have anything to lead us off with, or no?
Just basically the budget that's there. I don't know if there's a page number
On page 13.
Basically, like a year maintenance fund that would go towards just general maintenance of the whole southern parcel of the wetland area. Just regular maintenance, whether it's dredging the sediments that are coming out in that first pond, or all along the wetland, I guess, treatment train, and eventually, replacing some of the gravel wetlands towards the end. Just Soil and Water would be doing that, and getting reimbursement from the dedicated fund, I guess, for that.
So in the prior discussions, this was the complete plan and complete estimate with 15% contingency is added in here for unforeseen stuff, and a total estimate of $19,665. I think the last discussion was, though, that the facilities would be reviewed probably a couple times a year, spring and fall or something like that, and to determine what, if any, of these treatments were needed at the time, and then proceed with only those treatments that were necessary. So this wouldn't necessarily be $19,000 every year. It could be less if the facilities don't warrant that type of treatment for that year. Is that right?
Right. And then some of the issues, like if we did ever have to replace the gravel wetland, that would be more than 2,400 or whatever is on there for, or that $8,000
Yeah.
a year. But it's going to be in a rolling, like phase 1 would be a certain portion of the wetlands, and then phase 2 would be the next year. Would just be kind of rolling around each process.
Randy, who's doing the inventory reporting on invasive plant species?
Actually, we're going to work with Jim Sutherland. Starting now, we're actually going to go down there and what's down there, what was actually planted. We have all the native species that were planted, and those were earmarked right before Dave and his crew started mowing. So we're hoping they're still marked, and we're going to do that spring and summer.
Jim, you got anything, Jim? You have anything?
If you haven't had an opportunity or haven't looked at it in a while, I would encourage you to look at the inspection manual. It was put together. It's pretty well organized. And the only other item that I would say is keep in mind is whoever does the inspections, whether that's our office or if there's somebody else, after significant storm events, that's where you might have an expenditure for some repairs. We haven't seen that yet, and it's held up, I think, fairly good. So it was very popular. And, I mean, Dave Harrington's crew has already been doing the landscaping up for all intents and purposes for a few years. So that's already been, whether you know it or not, it's already been.
And Jeff, this money's in the account budgeted from...
Well, we have that, the reserve that any of the excess income from the park goes into, and the intent of that is exactly to do park maintenance or improvements. I guess the only other thing I'll note is Jim had mentioned that you had some changes, a couple of comments. Were there anything material that you want to review with the committee?
That was before this, back in
Okay.
14 and 15 when I was the last time.
Okay. I think the next step ahead would be for the inspection to occur for this year, right? Because nobody has gone out and really gone in accordance with that manual. So are you looking for the board to adopt the manual, or just a committee consensus that, okay, this is the manual we're going to use?
Yeah, I think we'd like to see it get adopted so we can move forward and probably have, I don't know if there need to be an MOU or anything with soil and water, or I don't know how that would go forward, but...
What do you think? I think Soil and Water should do it, and I think also we should have it to our attorney to see what, what's in this.
Okay, so you want to just, we'll hold on a board action and pending a attorney review?
Yeah, I think we should, just so the attorney can see it.
Yeah, and one of the, we talked before about the fact that the original conservation easement and agreement between what was the 3 E's and the 3 M's at the time is the kind of the driving factor of this, that states, because in that there were certain responsibilities of the municipal partners to maintain the wetlands. So I think it would be good for the county attorney to have a chance to review this O&M manual and then check it against what the actual obligation is of the 2 municipalities.
Because I know about a year ago, I think the obligation with the 3 E's kind of tapered off on that wetland part. Am I right? I remember discussing it was only for a certain amount of time, and I think they're finished with it now, and this is us.
That was related to some type of final acceptance or
Probably
something.
the final planting.
Right. So this is more of an ongoing annual
Maintenance.
inspection and maintenance. But if the committee's good with that, we can come back next month with any comments from the county attorney. In the meantime, can the committee authorize the inspection to be done? And I don't know if Jim or, would that be a reimbursable thing to Soil and Water for you guys to go out and do a review, or is that incidental to your mission as Soil and Water anyway?
We can go out, well, probably the first time, because it would be the first time that I would have used this. This was put together by Chazen Associates, the contractor. So it might be good to have a few, Dave and someone from your office, and we all go out and take a look. I can do the review of it because I'm a CPAS, and just do it as part of our mission on that one. Because then it would be good to have everyone, all eyes on the same thing, and everybody looks at it the same way. So I would say it shouldn't take that much. I spent enough time down there through the last couple of years on different projects. I'd say just let's set up a time to go down there and do it and get the baseline set, and then beyond that, if there's any comments from county attorney, then look at whatever type of agreement that was necessary. I left it in our annual plan of work to take this on whenever it was approved. So.
All right, everybody agree to that? We'll let Jim start the ball rolling for us.
And that would give us a chance so that next month after that inspection occurs, we would know what of these expenses we could anticipate for this year.
All right. Well, we don't need a resolution for that, we just can do it. Okay. Anything else?
Those are the only items I have.
Privilege to the floor for any questions?
Do you want to mention the skate?
Okay. Just one thing, Mr. Chairman, we do have an event coming up, and it's a little bit different. It's at the skateboard park, and if you remember last year, we had the first ever skateboard park event there, and as Jeff and I were talking about it, it was came here because it was more of a fee-based discussion. Jeff and I both remember it was around $250 was what the fee was to use the skateboard park in the grounds around it for an event, so we would need...
Right. We have board established rates for the Festival Commons.
Right.
But this event is not using the Festival Commons, it's using the skateboard park and then some small lawn areas just adjacent that are really kind of filler lawn areas in between the walkways.
Yep.
For a small $10 for the event. Last year, the rate was set at $250.
Something like that, yeah.
Well, do you think that was a fair price?
Yeah,
No
I don't think
problem
they have
with
an
that?
issue with it. They have the insurance. They don't have the insurance yet, but they do know that that's a requirement to have insurance for the event. So we're waiting on the certificate of insurance, and then we'll let the mayor know when he gets back that we'll set a rate of whatever the committee wants. But I think it was $250.
All right, well, does anybody feel we'll give them permission, make sure they have the insurance and leave it at $250?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Motion to adjourn. Mr. Conover, so your hand go
One
up?
quick question. If we budget the $20,000 and we don't expend it, I guess it'd be a question for Mike. I just want to make sure that it stays within the park account. It doesn't fall to the highway fund balance. It doesn't fall to any other fund balance.
I don't believe, I think you're correct, but I
Stays in that account.
I'm not sure how that's structured, but I believe you're correct, yes.
I'm just saying, I think it's appropriate that if we budget this and not expend it all, it should stay within the park account.
Yeah, it'll roll over to next year or whatever.
I'm almost
In the
certain
park
that's
account.
what it is, but I have, because of that's the way it was set up originally. But let me just get back to you on that.
Thank you.
To make sure.
It's its own fund.
Yeah, I'm 99% sure, but not positive.
Yeah, I think it just rolls over, so in case we need a little more lat next year and we don't get enough this year to it, you'll have it there.
I just want to make sure that it stays.
You could check on that for us, Mike?
Yes, I will.
All right, any other questions? Motion adjourned. Mr. Dickinson, Ms. Frazier, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Done. Thank you.
Can I keep this one? Sure.